right, dude. Hypercast number 6.
Number 6.
Seis in Mayo.
Satan.
Really?
Satan. Oh, speaking of the number 6, you guys will get a kick out of this. I was going down 85, and there was a truck beside me. And you know how at the DMV you can pay the extra $25 to get the In God We Trust?
Yeah.
Well, this guy did. And his number was 666.
I guess with a license plate like that, he figured he had to.
Right.
So you are back in the studio with Jack Renard.
Neil Lee Griffin.
Josh Moyer.
And Amber Moyer.
And we have an excellent show for you today.
I like how we lie to him right off the bat.
Yeah.
We have an excellent show for you today. Guys, go get yourself a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want a sandwich? Go get yourself a sandwich.
Oh, God.
Yes, we have sandwiches en route right now.
Yeah.
We just called in a Halo drop of sandwiches. So we're going to give you an update on what we've been working on with our continuing shows, such as Flintlock and Gunner Craig. And also kind of, we're starting to really ramp things up, really kind of put things into high gear now. You may have noticed that our channel has been updated recently, and it's really new and spiffy and awesome.
It is. I'm
Yes.
impressed.
So,
I didn't know we had it in us.
yeah, neither did I. But
I will have to check that out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't watch our own stuff.
We have a
Yeah.
channel?
Yeah.
I thought we just did this every week.
You guys, what is a mic?
Right. Reason being, by the time we're done with what we're doing, we're pretty much sick of it.
That's very true.
And we don't ever want to see it again.
Yeah.
You're
So,
doing better.
so as a result, we do have a direction we're trying to move in. We'll tell you a little bit more about that coming up.
Forward.
Yes. I was partial to sideways myself, like a crab. You know?
Yeah, we know.
And then after we give you our update, we are going to have an excellent guest interview with Patrick Burgess. He is a marketing specialist. He's going to tell you a little bit about how to market yourself personally and professionally.
And how not to.
And then we're going to finish up with yet another advice column. Okay, so last podcast we interviewed Yoshi Torres, who is a South Carolina filmmaker working on an upcoming movie called Wreckster. Supposed to be funded through Kickstarter. And apparently...
You guys didn't give.
And apparently there was some trouble getting the Kickstarter
Yeah, there
off
was
the ground.
some reshoots that had to be done or something.
Yeah.
I think.
So, honestly, we're not exactly sure what the current ETA on the Kickstarter campaign is, but as soon as it's up, we will let you know. As soon as we have the information, you will have the information.
3
3
weeks
weeks later.
Yeah.
Yes, because there is a time lag when
Right.
we release these. As you noticed, we have gone, I think, 2 months consecutively with an upload every single Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Moving up in the world, keeping our promises.
Yeah. So we've been staying on top of Flintlock, Gunner Craig, and the Hypercast, which is our 3 continuing live shows that we have going right now. And I really like where they're all going. I think they're all, like, each one I'm pretty sure is better than the last one. We just released Chapter 3 of Gunner Craig Court, which I'm pretty excited about. I think it was actually the longest episode of Gunner Craig Court that we've done so far.
Oh, I believe that.
Considering we've only done 3.
You say 10 minutes, and everybody's like, oh, it's not a long time. It shouldn't be that hard. It is, okay?
Yes.
You've obviously never done it. Jack usually sends me the video on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and I'm usually done on the following Friday. So about a week it takes me to score it, and that's writing the score, not just playing something. I have to create it, and for me, that's the most time-consuming.
Oh, well, in addition to the score, you do all the Foley as well.
And that is correct. And for some of the sounds in this series, they have to be made up. Yeah. A little inside humor here. That
Oh, it's not going to be inside anymore. We're going to let the whole world know about
Yeah.
it. See, I get the demo score from Neil, right? And as we kind of alluded to, the way the production process goes, I start off and I edit together, I do all the animating and editing, and then I send a rough cut to Neil, who uses that to do all his scoring and Foley, and then he sends the scoring and Foley back to me. We mix it all together and we upload it. So I get this and I'm listening to it, and the sound effects sound great, it's all very good and everything. The score sounds even better, but there's a scene very early on where Annie does a jujitsu throw of Winsbury. Like, she grabs him, throws him over her shoulder onto his ass, right? So you would expect that to have sound effects. You would expect, you grab a human body and you throw it, boom, Exactly, Josh. That's how it should sound. What I hear instead is, what are you going to do about it? Grab, toss. Thud.
It was not that long.
It was 12 seconds.
I went to the
of flying
bathroom.
through the air.
I went to the bathroom and came back, and it was still going.
I taught you guys how to count.
And then as he hits the ground, he gets back up and goes back around because he's a boomerang.
Here at Monster Studios, we love to stretch the truth.
Yeah, that's what we do all the time. So, and to be fair, like I saw where Neil was coming from with it.
It
Because,
is a cartoon.
yeah, it's a cartoon, so we like to kind of add some silliness here and there, but it was just a little over the top, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
So for the audio, music, and sound for each episode, it takes me about a week. And for the last episode we did, which was the 10-minute episode, it was some long days because
I bet.
I knew I was going to need every second of that week.
Although, again, another modifier I added on to that, you had to write 2 specific extra themes for this episode.
That's
because
right.
you couldn't just, reuse the Gunner Creek Thorpe theme. We introduced some new characters like Eglinmore and Renardine who needed their own specific scores, and you had to come with that totally from scratch.
Yeah, and they'll be brought back throughout the scoring when or if we see them again.
Yes, because you never know.
Yeah.
And it's not just the editing the video or the scoring it. You also have the collaboration to get everybody in the studio to be able to record the actual lines
That's
themselves.
probably part of the
Scheduling.
hardest thing here.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with a multi-person production like this. Like, there's always advantages and disadvantages to any kind of production style, but if you're like Little Karibo and you just do all the voices yourself, the advantage of that is you can set your own schedule. You can record anytime you want to. Now, the disadvantage is you don't get as wide a range of voices. Right. So, when we have an option like Amber, like I cannot do a convincing female voice, whereas she can, So that's the trade-off there is we get a much wider range and variety, but it's so much harder to schedule people.
As of yet, Jack has not done a convincing female. We are still waiting on that to come out. I think he has the talent.
Yeah. I haven't done convincing males either.
That is true. Speaking of you, though, how long does it take you to edit an episode visually?
Depends on if there's anything good on TV.
Okay.
The truth comes out. We could be uploading these faster.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, that's a really difficult question to answer because it depends on so many different variables. Obviously, the end length is a huge determinant of that. Like, the editing process itself, putting all the dialogue together doesn't take a whole lot of time, but when I have to go back and animate the panels and cause them to look all pretty,
Right.
that takes a huge amount of time.
Because you have to do that from scratch.
Exactly.
It's not like my job where I get to look at something and go off that you are creating it out of thin air.
I think starting small really helped us out, and
Keeping small is helping us out more.
yes, it is. Exactly. I'm hoping that we can kind of boil this down to a science, and when we get really good at handling these productions, and it's just second nature to us, then we can start adding more and, hopefully doing some more things. So we'll get more to this when we get to our mailbag, but there was a specific comment from Revenger 210. Like, I really like this guy. He's everything you could want in a fan.
He likes us.
Yeah, he likes us.
Yeah.
He pays attention to our works, and he knows what we're all about and everything. But he also gives us feedback, positive and negative. He's not just saying, "Oh, you guys are the best." He's also showing areas that we can work on, and we really like that. He specifically mentioned in one of the recent Hypercasts, I believe, that he checked out our website and noticed that it's been kind of abandoned, which it has. And was curious about that and as for why. We're moving towards a new model. What we want to do is really focus on building Broad Spectrum Studios as a network where we create our own material and we put it out there and, hopefully people like it. But also we want to be a hub for other creators as well. We would like to find collaborators who work well with us and, allow them to join our network, and publish for us. So much more akin to what you would see on something like The Escapist or Machinima.com, where they publish their own original videos, but they also showcase other original videos. So that's where we're trying to get to right now. That's our goal. And in order to get there, there's a couple things we have to take care of first. Number one, we have to become popular ourselves. We need to, show that we can get exposure out there. We need to make things that people like watching. So you come to Broad Spectrum Studios because you want to see the new episode of Gunner Craig. You want to see the new episode of Flintlock. It needs to be a
You
channel
want to see the new Metal Gear.
because you want to see the new Metal Gear. It needs to be a channel that you are actively wanting to watch. And then once it reaches that point, that helps us attract other creators to go out there and say, hey, I like the videos that you're doing on your channel. I see that you're not getting a lot of exposure, but if you come to our channel, we'll help you market and promote your videos, so you'll get a lot more exposure, and it'll help build the Broad Spectrum name at the same time. And also, hopefully, to getting some income in, because we would like to be able to share income with anyone that collaborates with us, to say, hey, we may not be able to pay you a whole lot, but if you upload videos to the Broad Spectrum Network, we'd be willing to share our profits with you, As of right now, on that specific road to that point, we're focusing on making our YouTube channel the best that it can be. That's kind of our base of operations right now, while our website's being revamped. Because it's the backbone of everything we do. We put our music on there, we put our videos on there, we put our constantly updating shows. So YouTube is serving as the hub. Sometime over the summer, we're going to try to get our own personal website back online and fully revamped, and make that the big portal network you go on to broadspectrumstudios.com, and from there you can link to our YouTube, you can link to our music, you can link to our creator pages, all of that. But for right now, we're just focusing on one step at a time, and that means making sure our YouTube presence is as strong as it can be.
Up next, the mailbag.
Mailbag!
So, as you might have noticed, we recently uploaded our demo reel for 2013, and it's gotten some pretty good response so far. It's now our channel trailer, so if you go to Broad Spectrum Studios YouTube channel, that's the first thing you'll see.
Revenger 210, our biggest
best fan.
Our
yes.
best fan. Thank you for that. He's responding to who's
The Insane Sailor.
Yes. What?
What?
Somebody flagged Revenger 21. Oh, we're gonna find you.
Oh.
He is so not spam. No.
Somebody.
We see that someone has flagged Revenger 210 as spam, and he's not spam, okay? He's our biggest fan. If you think he's spam, we will find you and we will spam you.
hard in the spammer.
Yeah.
You're spamming you so hard right now.
Yes. He was in fact replying to Xiao Jingwen's comment, which was asking, "What's the name of the song for the conspiracy?"
Okay. Revenger 210 has a response to a comment saying that sadly my song Apocrypha is not available on the YouTubes.
And he spelled Apocrypha right.
Yes.
Bonus Jack cool points for that.
Thank you for spelling the title right. It's actually down because I'm remastering it, and it'll soon be back up in all its remastered glory, so it'll be up for download and purchase, so check it out, and I'll let you guys know when it's available.
That sounds really good. We'll make sure there's a link in the video description when it gets up as well.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Someone else want to take one of our portfolio comments?
No, Joshua Benson, there is no Metal Gear 4, okay? No. There is not one. Hi, M. Daisy did not make the comic for the game.
Blinks 503 there says, in order to do that, there would have to be the Hi-Am Daisy guys available to create the rest, and they're no longer a thing. You can't even find where they used to keep the comics, which is true.
And nobody, in fact, knows who Hi and Daisy the guys were. In fact, it was one person, and it was a girl.
Yep.
At the time that she took down Metal Gear, I recall talking with her about her new comic that she was doing. It wasn't a funny comic. It was an actual comic book she was trying to get off the ground. Mm-hmm. And I've been meaning to follow up on that and see where she's gone with that. So I will see if I can track that down and see if we see where she's at now, and hopefully give you guys an update on what she's currently working on. So if you like Metal Gear, you can check out her new comic.
And maybe petition a Metal Gear 4. If we can get enough signatures on that, maybe she'll crack. I'm serious.
I know.
Honestly, see if we can do this.
Yes, I agree. I think that's a really good idea.
I think it is too.
So we'll work on trying to find out where exactly she is right now. And if we can, if you guys can put together a petition that we can show for her, showing how much support there is for a new Metal Gear comic, maybe we can get off the ground. I particularly like Odd Sky and Mika's comic. Glad to see you guys are getting more active again. I think you're doing a fine job with Gunner Quick Dub. Keep up with the great work. Thank you. we are really trying to stay on top of this schedule. Like, we've gotten so confident now that we can keep up with the Saturday uploads that I'm even putting it in our marketing slogans.
Whoa.
Like, on our banner on our YouTube page and
I
everything.
noticed that.
Like,
Yep.
every comment of every video.
New videos every Saturday.
So,
Yeah.
it's getting real
Yeah.
now. Now we actually have people expecting us to upload.
Right. Unlike October.
Yes.
I love everybody. You are all my biggest fans. Except for Revenger 210. You are the biggest fan.
Yes. We love you.
Seriously.
He really does.
Oh, yeah.
And the Insane Sailor, I think, has a male crush on Neil. Or
Dude.
at least Winsberry.
Dude. Josh and Amber are cool and everything, dude. But Revenger 210, you're the one I love, dude.
It's cool, dude. Dude.
Dude.
I love you.
Dude, I think he's growing a bang, dude.
Whoa, dude, it is long.
Before my eye.
Yeah.
Alright, somebody do this. Amber, want to do it?
The Insane Sailor, who I previously mentioned had to say Winsberry or Neil crush. Wow, Neil did a really good job being Winsberry and really made me laugh.
He has that effect
Thank
on
you.
us, too.
It's actually just how I am. I'm just that stupid on a daily basis.
We just put a microphone in front of him and let him go.
I will mention, though, that this is the second comic dub where Neil and I have voiced either romantic interest characters or one character has a romantic interest in the other one. And we are not planning that. It just turns out that when we cast the characters, that's what happens.
We were recording for the next episode of Gunner Quake 4. And in order to do so, we brought in Steve the Fan. You may remember Steve the Fan from one of our earlier Hypercasts. And we've actually commissioned him to start playing some roles. He actually played Basil the Minotaur
He
in
did.
Chapter 2.
He did a good job with Basil.
He did a very good job.
But
Yeah,
he
I'm
did a better
surprised.
job with Mort for episode 4.
Yes.
You guys will see that when it gets uploaded, 3 weeks from now?
So we brought him in to record some lines for episode 4, and like four or five times throughout the course of the session, he's like, "You know what? I think Amber should do this particular trick with her voice because she would sound sexy that way." Now, here's a little known fact you guys might not know about Steve the Fan. He's Amber's brother, okay? And
I know. I had a lot more screams after that. Like a whole crowd screaming.
So we have this guy in here. He's like, "Hey, here's some ways that you make my sister sound even sexier."
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Steve, you sick freak. Anyway, now that we've got all the incest out of the way.
Back to one more comment from the mailbag. So once again, going back to Avenger 21.0 on the comments for Flintlock's Guide to Azeroth, episode 3.
I get this feeling that the description's always the same for this series. Why? Question mark.
Well,
Jack, why don't you
Avenger
answer that?
2.0, Jack is about to tell you.
It's because I am a lazy peon. Like, I spend
Peon.
2 weeks of my life editing this together, and then I put it online. I just don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to spend extra time typing on the computer to make a description for it. So I just copy and I paste, okay? That's my secret shame. Judge me.
Oh, we
Oh,
do.
you're being judged.
Oh, yeah.
You're being judged so hard right now.
Judge a little higher. You feel my judgment on your hip?
I was going to say you're going to have judgment all over your face in a minute.
Okay,
And the
guys.
verdict is...
Guilty.
And that is our mailbag for the week. So we're going to put these in our filing system.
I can see through the ashes in your life. You're the one who needs this pain. In the clouds of despair, you're the one who makes it rain. Down on everyone. Can't take it back now that we're done. And all you wanted
somebody at the hand of a liar to find your fear. And all you needed was to find some reason to keep on believing you'll find hell here. I can hear through the sadness in your voice. You're the one who's left in vain. In the eyes of everyone, you're the one who brings the blame down on everyone. Can't take it back now that we're done. And all you wanted was to find somebody at the hand of a liar to find your fear. And all you needed was to find some reason to keep on believing you'll find hell here. Somebody at the hand of a liar to find your fear. And all you needed was to find some reason to keep on believing you'll find. And all you wanted was to find somebody at the hand of a liar to find your fear. And all you needed was to find some reason to keep on believing you'll find. You'll find.
This week we have a very special guest victim, Patrick Burgess, a marketing specialist who's going to tell you how to manage your own business and brand as you're trying to get yourself out there. Burgess is a little bit different from a lot of the guest stars we have on here because he's very
Honest.
yes, brutally so. So Patrick, welcome to the studio. Tell us a little bit about what draws you to marketing in particular.
It's really fun to get people to buy something or do something because you recommend it, or use art, music, whatever, to inspire them to throw money down.
This is what I really appreciate about Burgess's insights is if you go to business school, you'll hear all this BS about, oh, we're here to provide ethical capitalism and we're only here to provide value to the customers. We want to take care of customers and provide value to the workforce. And nobody talks about it. You're really just there to make money.
You can either manipulate people to give them your money, or you can't. I mean, there's such a thing as responsible marketing, but...
Oh, tell us a little about responsible marketing, Pat.
Well, you get somebody to buy something that they need, not necessarily something that they want or don't need. But, I mean, somebody needs to buy a car. They need to have something to get them at least looking.
There you go.
Same way with, we've got, an obesity problem in the country, and
Really?
Whole Foods.
As Amber chokes down her second water.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
you've got marketing that can get people interested in eating well. Now, marketing for something like Lady Gaga, that's a whole different thing.
And what kind of whole different thing is that?
That's just waste.
Sex sells, and she's always half naked.
Is she? I don't think so. I don't think she's selling herself based on sex because, number one, she used to be a guy. Number two, like, she doesn't dress up sexily.
Right.
She like wears meat costumes and shit. Like, it's not sexy.
I think she went and took that course that they used to have at universities. I think it was called Madonna 101.
Did they actually teach you music level?
Yes, they did. They taught Madonna in schools, maybe 15 years ago. That some university had a Madonna course because she was so brilliant at manipulating everything, including herself, and exploiting everything, including herself, to get ahead.
That is true.
I heard she actually signed her record contract with the guy on the on a gurney in the hospital.
Wow.
He said she showed up and she wasn't going to let anything get in the way of getting that record contract signed. And he signed it before they put him under to do surgery.
I kind of admire that. I mean, that shows that you're, like, on the one level you can say that's too obsessed with your career, but on the other level you can say, man, that's real drive. And especially,
what do you want? Go get it.
Yeah, in any kind of entertainment field, singing or acting or anything like that, like,
Even
you
if it's
gotta
in the ER.
be after it, you know?
Yeah.
How do you stand out when standing out and being different is the language of modern society? Like, when Madonna came out, you're right, she did things that hadn't been seen before. Yeah. But then there's university level classes on Madonna, and being new and weird and off the wall is now what's normal.
That's the end thing. It's the new black, you know?
Yeah, so how do you stand out when everyone else is quote unquote standing out?
You have to do with what Madonna did. She found religion. after the sex, I don't know if you remember the sex book and all that other stuff with that whole CD where she was just over the top, overtly sexual. The next thing she did was she became a Buddhist or whatever. It wasn't Buddhism, it was Kabbalah.
In your terms, who do you think, business or celebrity, is doing a really good job of marketing themselves right now, or a really terrible job of marketing themselves? Who do you think is the best and worst out there in the market at the moment?
The worst is fast food places.
Really?
Because it's just awful.
They seem to be doing well for themselves.
I was going to say Broad Spectrum Studios.
Well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say. Most advertising irritates the crap out of me, so it doesn't make me want to buy things.
How so? Like, why is it irritating to you?
I don't know, either it's just stupid, doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's a lot of ads out there that are supposed to be, look at me, I'm avant-garde and weird, and they make no sense.
Ooh, I can think of a perfect one. Did you guys see the Super Bowl this year?
Do you mean the
I never
halftime
watched
show?
it.
I mean the Super Bowl, the thing that happens where the people take the ball and they run it down to the end of a field.
Yes.
Okay, football. Yes. That's what it's called in some countries, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, one of the commercials for the Super Bowl was for GoDaddy, and GoDaddy's pretty notorious for having a terrible marketing campaign, marketing team altogether. But this one was literally nothing but 30 seconds of Bar Raffaele kissing some fat dude. Was it Jonah Hill?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Okay, some fat, nerdy-looking motherfucker, right? And you have a hostess up there, and she goes, "Hi, I'm going to show you how GoDaddy can, spice up your webpage, just like Bar Raffaele spices up this guy." And then it cuts to them just Frenching for 25 seconds, however long the commercial lasts. And you're going,
Gross.
and that's their commercial, is, this really hot chick and this really nerdy guy making out. And you don't know, like...
That's a great example.
Is that supposed to make you want to buy a webpage?
Yeah, because it's not...
Well, he went over to Africa and went on a safari and killed an elephant, and it got out.
Wait, is GoDaddy a person? Like,
The CEO of GoDaddy, yeah.
Oh.
He's
wow.
big old doo-doo at the fan.
What's it going to do with the elephant? I mean, it's not...
I guess he's going to eat it. I don't know.
It's a lot of meat.
What's he not going to do with an elephant, man? I mean, think about it. The possibilities are endless.
What would you do with a dead elephant?
Make an audio of them cutting it up and put that on instead of French kissing.
Why do you want to buy a website? I shot this elephant last week to show you why.
So it makes as much sense as anything else they've done.
Yeah.
All right, so that's an example of bad marketing. Somebody that sticks in your mind, but you don't know why. They don't make it relevant to their product.
Right.
So, who do you think is a really good example of a marketing campaign right now?
ThePriceline.com with William Shatner. I think those are pretty good because everybody likes him. Even though he irritates people, they still want to watch him.
That's true, because I think he's kind of embraced that about himself.
Yeah,
like, he knows that he's,
washed up.
Yeah, he's a joke. And he doesn't deny, he just goes full force into it.
He works it for everything. He flogs it for everything it's worth.
Can't really blame him for that,
You
though.
know what?
I mean...
Yeah, we need to get Gilbert Godfrey to promote Broad Spectrum Studios.
I love Broad Spectrum Studios!
And then also, FreeCreditReport.com, their first ads were really good.
They did stick with you. They were annoying as hell.
They were annoying, but in a...
jingles.
Yeah.
So we've looked at good marketing, we've looked at bad marketing, we've looked at different versions of marketing. What is your personal favorite?
Bad marketing.
Right now,
I'm sorry,
right now or all time?
All time.
I think my favorite of all was the ad that I saw when I was about 14 or 15 years old for Chanel No. 5. I don't know if you remember it. It was a song they played on the piano. It was an old 1930s song. And it showed, the graphics were incredible, and it showed the Transamerica building in San Francisco, and it showed a plane shadow flying up against it, and it was really neat. They can't use it now because of 9/11, unfortunately, but at the time, it was an awesome ad.
I actually have seen that one, and it's very visually interesting. They did a lot of unique stuff that's very poignant as far as the imagery, and it does stick with you.
I think Ridley Scott did the direction on that.
Really? I didn't realize that he had...
That's
I think it was
He used to
Ridley
do
Scott.
commercials before he did films.
I didn't realize.
That's my all-time favorite ad ever.
How do you think advertising has changed from then to now?
Oh, well,
Do you think it's for the better or for the worst?
that's a hard one. I think it could be either, simply because now there's the medium's everywhere. It's advertising's everywhere. You can't look at anything that's not got advertising plastered on it.
That is
Your
true.
phone, I mean, none of that existed even 15 years ago, even 10 years ago.
Right.
So it's all changed. It's all different. And I'm not sure it's better or worse. It's just different. But I don't think you'll see ads like the Chanel No. 5 one again. Not
Right.
anytime soon.
Something artistic.
People aren't going to appreciate that these days. They like in your face. The average attention span now is probably 2 seconds. If you don't grab somebody's attention in 2 or 3 seconds, it's over.
I was just going to ask you about that. You know, with the rise of media outlets like YouTube and crap like that with little pop-up ads. You know,
yes, the ads.
Do you think it's harder to get someone's attention? You know, in advertising?
Yeah, I do. It's like the wacky waving incredible arm man that they sit around. Nobody notices them anymore. They're everywhere. They're freaking everywhere. And I drive right by them. I don't notice them.
Well, I want to call attention to a line that a lot of people don't really acknowledge when they're trying to judge an ad or a marketing campaign. You can judge it on one of two criteria. You can either judge it on its artistic or creative value and on its effective business value. Because you can look at an ad and say, oh, that's a terrible ad, it's stupid, it's just a bad example of filmmaking.
Right.
But if it appeals to that target demographic that's, made of 13-year-old little boys that just like stupid, annoying shit, then,
these podcasts.
like these podcasts, then it's doing a good job. It's an effective marketing tool, even if it's a bad example of filmmaking. It can still be artistically disgusting and commercially successful.
And then you've also got political correctness that's creeped into it now, like the thing with Mary J. Blige and the chicken. When who was it for? It was Burger King. They were going to do something for some kind of chicken thing that they were selling. And she was going to be the pitch person, and they said, this is racist, we can't show this. It was just ridiculous.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, they pulled the ad, they wouldn't show it.
Speaking, now you brought up chicken. You remember 13 months back, Chick-fil-A was once again in the news for, political issues about, I believe, whether they would hire someone gay or not. They
that's
said
right.
They would hire homosexuals. And then as a result, these two camps sprouted up. People that boycotted Chick-fil-A to support gay rights, and people that went and ate tons of Chick-fil-A in order to support, right nuts.
Yeah.
So buying a chicken sandwich became a political statement, and I thought that was a stupid thing to me. My stance on gay rights has nothing to do with just chicken being delicious, So,
Right. Yeah.
What do you think about companies that tie themselves to a political agenda and make buying their product a political statement?
History shows it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
It started back in the 70s with Anita Bryant and the Florida citrus thing, and she was rabid Christian, anti-homosexual, and she took all that into the public forum, and it was a disaster, even back then.
Wow.
It's like, even if people agreed with her, they were like, I don't like this. And I think back in the 80s, it was Cracker Barrel that did the same thing they fired all their gay employees. And it was a disaster. With Chick-fil-A, it started out being a positive thing for them because they had all these people that showed up to buy their product. But where are those people going to be in a year? And
Right.
Where are those people going to be in a year, and everybody's going to remember that? And their stand on that And also, Coors Beer was another one that got into trouble in the exact same way. And it was what happened to them is all the gay bars in the country pulled Coors Beer out of their places. Now Coors is a huge supporter of gay rights because it was a disaster for them.
So you do kind of caution businesses against, trying to tie themselves to a political topic as part of their marketing strategy.
There's an old adage, religion and politics and business don't mix.
Down on a more local level, say you're an aspiring entertainer trying to break into the business, what should you do to market yourself effectively in an area like where we're at now here in Greenville?
Putting your face out there. A lot of contact, just pounding the pavement. If you're a performer, do it for free, just where people are going to see you and get your name out there and get known. That's really, I don't think, because there's so much advertising for stuff like that, I don't think people just seeing an ad or a billboard, they're just going to immediately get into a performer.
Well, Neil actually pays to do his own stuff, so...
I do. It costs me money. Yeah. I mean, I've sat out in the park and played and handed out CDs and flyers all day long, and you just have to be willing to work.
And also, I think a lot of, with something like that, I think a lot of it has to do with being at the right place at the right time.
Right.
And the only way you're going to do that is having so much, it's a numbers game like any other kind of sales. You just have to be out there enough that sooner or later you're going to get that moment when the right time and place comes along.
There's a quote that I really like from this fighter pilot who says that, I don't believe in luck, but the closest thing to it is when opportunity meets preparedness and things go your way. Even the places you go to hang out, the things that you do to have fun, do you think that is also wrapped up in your personal marketing strategy? Does that... To
a degree, yeah, absolutely. Back in October when Jess and I went to that black tie event in Greenville, was a big boost for us because all of our clients were there and they saw us in an entirely different light, and it was a big deal actually. We turned a lot of heads.
You can't judge somebody on what they are wearing to know how much money they actually have, but at the same time that's how a lot of people make judgment calls.
You only get one chance at a first impression.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in someplace, you're selling yourself, right,
Mm-hmm.
Pat?
You are.
And if you're trying to make a good first impression, I guess you should go in there with that in mind.
And then also there's a little thing you get though. If you look good and you look professional, you get an ego boost yourself. You get self-confidence out of that, which
you feel good.
Projects.
Yeah. It's a good feeling to know you look your best.
Yeah.
It's sad, but the shy people don't usually get noticed. Doesn't matter how talented they are, a lot of times they get overlooked.
Then you just do something like Neil did and pair yourself up with like a really hot girlfriend. That's how I met Neil.
I'm only dating you because I look hotter next to you.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was... Never mind.
It wasn't that.
We're missing the point. No. Where I was going with that was the whole I saw her first and talked to her.
Actually, I think I saw her first.
You're not making it better.
I know what you thought. He was like, so the way I met Neil was I saw this really hot chick, and then there's like something hanging on her arm, and I realized it was Neil.
Yeah, we like kind of a mangled Bon Jovi meets Shaggy.
That's right. Somebody want to toss Amber a ladder to get out of that hole she just went into?
Yeah, really.
No, shovel's good. Shovel's good.
Yeah, keep digging. You'll find the other side.
Who's your favorite serial killer?
I wouldn't know. Oh, yes, I would. Ivan's terrible.
He likes the classic flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Set a monk down on top of a powder keg and blew him away. Told him he could find God that way.
We love the macabre here at Broad Spectrum Studios.
Hey, if you're going to be a serial killer, you might as well do it on a massive scale. None of this running around, just go for the gold. Don't go for the bronze.
This is going to be one of those podcasts that's played on Fox News the next time there's like a mass shooting.
I thought about that, yeah.
He cites this podcast as giving him the inspiration.
Okay, 13-year-old.
Most people don't know who Ivan the Terrible is, or was.
But they'll know who Pat Burgess is.
But they can blame me.
Studios. Hey, you're the They never did Metal Gear 4.
Damn.
All right, so Patrick Burgess, thank you very much for coming in the studio and giving us some insight, some real-world insight into how to market yourself and how to carry yourself effectively in the workforce. So we really appreciate your time and all the insight you've given us. It's been a pleasure.
And good to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. He actually drove into the studio today. I know a lot of our...
Yeah, we still not fix that wall.
Yeah.
Well, I was working on a ceiling, so
He's been hanging out with you, hasn't he?
Yes.
But no, I mean a lot of our guests end up having to Skype in. And Pat actually took the time to drive out to our studio today.
So moving on to our advice column for the week. First of all, we wanted to hit you with a big piece of cross-dimensional general advice, and that is focus on collaborations. Collaborations are incredibly powerful tools for you to promote and expose yourself. The importance of collaborations really comes down to, number one, it's fun. You know, it's nice to meet people, and it's a great way to improve yourself. It kind of harkens back to both of our earlier pieces of advice about, you know, one, always be publishing. Collaborations help with that. Two, always be improving what you do, and collaborations help with that. You know, when you work with other people, you learn new things, you learn new ways of doing things, and you just become better at your craft. In addition to both of those aspects, collaboration really helps with cross-exposure. And this applies to no matter what your dimension is, whether you're working with video, sound, acting, what have you. If you create a video and you get somebody else to guest star in that video, either as a voice actor or as a guest star,
everybody on their channel or network or subscribers will see you.
Exactly. You know, you put it up and you give exposure to them, they put it on their page, they give exposure to you, and it doubles what you can do. Whereas if you just made a video by yourself,
everybody is in the green.
It's a beautiful thing because there's not a whole lot of places in the entertainment industry where it's a win-win scenario. And collaborations are one of those, you know, golden areas where it is.
Right.
Even in the big-time music industry, there's a reason why every single song is featuring every other single artist. You know what I'm saying?
Or if it's an artist that's just coming up, it'll have featuring an already established artist.
Exactly. It helps spread the exposure.
Yeah, and with going along those same lines, one of Amber's favorite bands is that cello group Apocalyptica. You know, before they came, I mean, when they first came out, I had never heard of the darn people, you know.
Really? I figured you'd be all over them.
Well, I found them and through my, like, Nuclear Europe band something or another thing that I'm on.
Is that legal?
But
Yeah,
Like it sounds like
it's a
like
YouTube
part of
channel.
the sex trade.
yeah, like
right?
you're trafficking
Well, it might be.
something.
Yeah.
but all of a sudden, all within a few months, they've got all these videos out featuring Gavin from Bush, what's her name, Lacey from Flyleaf. They've
Because they're predominantly instrumental.
yeah.
So they can feature all these vocalists. Mm-hmm. So if you like the vocalist, then you'll
You can
Hear
you'll hear what they can
all
do.
the cellos in Apocalyptica, and it's a crossbreeding of fans.
Yeah.
And they're networking with us even though they don't know they are, because I'm a huge fan of theirs and now they're making it on our podcast. So all of our listeners now have heard about them.
Yes. This is in fact cross collaboration with
Yeah.
Apocalyptic.
Right.
They
No,
just don't know it yet.
This is exposure. This is what collaboration does, and this is what it gets you, because they collaborated, so we came up and we listen to them now, and now we are exposing what we like about them and why we like them to all of our listeners, and it's just a huge chain reaction. Collaboration is just the start.
And they don't even know we exist.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, Neil, pull that cello out of the corner, start playing. Dang it!
Yep. I'll sound like that chick from Flyleaf.
He can do it. Maybe we'll find
Just
out.
kick me in the balls real quick.
Play his balls.
Cannot espouse enough how beneficial collaborating with other creators is as far as promoting yourself. But I don't want you guys to think about it in a totally selfish manner like that.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
do. Yeah, we do. It's all about you.
It's not all about what you can get. Like I said, there's a lot of creative inspiration that comes from that. Our best collaborative experience so far has definitely been Let's Defeat the Fox Unit.
That's true.
When we were doing the Metal Gear hyperdubs, we actually got contacted by a couple of voice actors that were curious if they could guest star, and we had never even thought of this until that point. I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. So we tried it out with the Shagahod, and it worked out well. Mm-hmm. And so we said, all right, let's open the floodgates. Let's go all out and have open auditions. And we had a great time with that. We got some really great, talented people that we had never met before, and made some really good contacts from that.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we haven't had the chance to go back in that direction because we're just, again, trying to get back on our feet. However, we are wanting to move back towards that eventually as well, especially with the likes of things like Gunner Craig Court.
Gunner Creek Court has a lot of people, a lot of voices, and we're kind of limited here with what we can do in the studio.
Exactly. We have somewhere floating around 5 to 6 people that we can call in, and that's about it. And we've got Gunner Creek Court has a cast of dozens upon dozens of characters.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to run out pretty soon. So we are actually looking to specifically start collaborating with people for guest voices on that. So feel free to contact us if you're interested. So there you go. That is our big piece of advice for the week. Make sure that you get yourself involved with some collaborations. Go ahead and make that your homework for the week. Find some people, shoot some emails out there, see if you can get together a project with some pals and get something online.
Speaking of collaboration, a friend of mine, Karen Molina, a great author, posted a video of her son. So I checked out all his videos, and he actually does instructional videos and such for a claw machine. How you go to the arcade or whatever, and they've got the claw machine that's got the plushies in it and stuff. Well, he has tons of videos on how to actually win all the stuff behind the glass. His name is Matt Magnone, and we'll stick a link in the description for his channel. Kudos to you, Matt. Great job, and keep it up.
Yeah. Now, moving on to a bit of movie jargon for the week. A ton of viewers who went to see Kiss Kiss Iron Man 3, may have stayed for the credits and noticed that there is a big section for gang bosses. It sounds kind of like an ominous movie title, doesn't it?
Like a mafia thing.
Yeah.
Boss.
Exactly. But what the gang boss actually is...
Well, to break things down on a kind of a more local level, anybody out here who's ever worked construction, the gang boss on a movie set is basically the job foreman. He's the guy he's going to make sure everything's built to specs, everything's squared and leveled. He's going to kind of run the whole shift. He's going to be the guy that's telling you, that's giving you the actual job. Okay, this crew here is working on this set. You're working on lighting. You're working on gaffing. You're behind the scenes making sure everything is built to specs, make sure everything's safe.
And you may think that that's kind of a dying job with the advent of movies like Avatar and Life of Pi, where everything's green screened, you know. But you'd be surprised to find out that construction's still a relatively big part of filmmaking. I remember specifically with The Dark Knight Rises. The pit, they actually built the entire pit. You know, they built this entire prison compound. That's not CG, you know.
That's right.
They did a huge amount of set construction on jobs like that, and that really had a major part to play in contributing to the look and feel of the movie. It's very important. I believe they also constructed the entire sewer location.
Do you mean where Bane broke his back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bane didn't
Yeah, that
break
was-
his back. Batman broke his back.
What?
What?
Bane didn't break his back. Bane broke Batman's back.
That's what I said.
We had some
Everybody
problems
who-
with indefinite pronouns there.
Everybody who knows Batman knows he's the one that got his back broken by Bane.
We assumed that, you know, people might not have heard that and assumed that Bane would, like, you know, sat down crooked on a chair and was like,
Right.
"Oh, brother, my spinal column!"
It's shutting out my back.
Well, you never know.
I need Venom.
So there you go. When you watch Iron Man 3, if you haven't already, pay attention to the gang bosses. They play an important role. Man, this is a Josh-centric Hypercast today. We're going back to Josh Moyer with our dimension-specific advice.
Take it away, Josh.
Woohoo! All right. Everyone knows that I'm kind of the chief prop and set engineer here at Broad Spectrum Studios, so I do a lot of work with, you know, manipulating physical environment for the purpose of our productions. As this is the first time I'm actually giving specific advice, I'm probably going to... I think what I want to do is I want to touch on some advice that's probably not real popular, especially with a lot of the younger generation out here, but it is extremely, extremely imperative.
Really?
Okay. And that is, before I get into all of the, you know, as these podcast or as these hypercasts go on, and we start getting into, you know, more and more how to do the job that you want to do, what I want to talk about in this specific field is safety. Because, I mean, if you're out here and you're working in this, basically, we're a construction department. And if you're not exercising proper safety techniques, you're not going to have a job in this career for very long. Okay? You get out here, you'll be doing things, you think you want to, you know, you want to say that you think you know how everything works. If you don't know how something works, talk to somebody.
Good point.
Get help from someone who does know how these machines work. You know, you'll be working with machines. You're going to be working with chemicals. You're going to be working with sharp moving objects. You're going to be working with heavy and cumbersome loads. You know, if you're working in if you're working in any area where you've got stuff going on overhead, wear a hard hat. I don't care how stupid you think it looks. You're going to look a lot stupider wearing a freaking
Halo.
I was thinking, like, with drool coming out your mouth.
Hey, you're gonna look a lot dumber when your head's pinned between the concrete floor and a piece of lighting equipment that fell.
Yes.
You know, make sure you understand all of the proper lockout, tagout procedures on heavy equipment. If you're on a job and your boss gives you direction to go use a piece of equipment you're not familiar with, let him know you're not familiar with it. You know, get acquainted with it. I don't want you going over to the metal brake to bend something for me and getting your hand caught between the die, because once it comes down, it ain't coming back up without finishing the rotation.
That's like the Saw episode of the Hypercast.
Right. You know, if you're working with chemicals are extremely hazardous to soft tissue, to your lungs. If you need to be in a well-ventilated area, you need to be wearing, if the chemical requires it, or if there's not proper ventilation, you need to be wearing a supplied air respirator. If you're working off the ground, you need to be wearing a safety harness and you need to be tied off. You know, and always safety first. You know, if you're working on a rigging crew, you're working with wires and stuff like that. Yes, your job is to make sure that the actors and everyone on sets, you know, are safe, but that doesn't exclude you. You need to make sure you're safe as well. You know, it'd be very, very easy, you know, right before something, oh no, this light's off just a little bit, I can run out here to the edge of this scaffolding and twitch it, you know, just to get it right, and, you know, oh, well, it's one little move. I don't need to worry about tying myself off. Well, that scaffolding's not bolted down properly, or the light's just a little further away than you want. Well, that 25-foot fall to the ground is not going to bode well for the rest of your career, or the quality of your life for that matter.
Should have been wearing that hard hat.
Should have been wearing that
harness.
Right.
Harness. I've been in construction for a lot of years. Just this last year, I actually went and took another OSHA class, just to refamiliarize myself with some of the safety procedures, see if there's anything new. I mean, safety is always, it needs to always be, I'd like to say in the back of your mind, but it really needs to be in the forefront of your mind. Never, it's, yes, I need to get this done, I need to get this done on time, and I need to get this done quickly, but I need to get this done safely. There's never any reason, I don't care how behind you are on something, there is never any reason that you should forego safety for the purpose of keeping something on time. I would rather fall, an hour behind schedule than to have to show up at one of my employees' houses to tell their family that they're not coming home today. And that's outside of, that's paramount outside of all of the lost production time that would come from having to shut the set down because we've had a major accident.
Right. At the end of the day, it is just a film. It's entertainment. It's not worth somebody getting hurt.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like I said, probably not a very popular subject. A lot of people out here, especially the young guys in this field, I've been on construction sites. I've been in areas where you get these people that come in here, they've been working construction their whole life, and that means for the last 2 years because they're 18 and they started when they were 16 on their dad's plumbing company. Well, if you're running screw pipe and I tell you to go use the metal shear and you don't know what you're doing,
say it.
Yeah.
I would rather look like I didn't know what I was doing. I would rather tell somebody and look like, hey, I need some help here, than to lose body parts, in an accident that I could have prevented just by opening my mouth. This is not an industry where you need to be cocky. And if somebody comes to you for help, don't brush them off. If you know what to do, or you see somebody doing something that's questionable, stop them, call them out. Hey, make them think about what they're doing. What are you doing wrong here? What needs to happen? Help those guys out. This industry, it's a lot about fun, but life-threatening injuries, debilitating injuries, not so much fun.
Yeah. Very good topic, and I can't think of a better person to talk about it, because, I don't know, Josh is kind of like the Fire Marshal Bill of Broad Spectrum Studios. I cannot tell you what he's been through, He's dropped molten slag through his foot, he's cut his fingertip off,
His nickname is Lucky.
But, seriously, you only have, you're not a lizard. You can't grow stuff back. You've only got 2 eyes. You lose your eyes, you're out of this industry. You lose your hands, you're out of this industry. You can't walk, how are you going to get up a ladder?
Right. So, thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Hypercast. This week we gave you a little look into the production schedule for Flintlock and Gunner Craig. We told you about where we're trying to go with promoting the Broad Spectrum Studios channel and what kind of exposure you'll see from us in the coming months. We had an interview with the excellent guest victim, Patrick Burgess. Told you a little bit about how to market yourself. And finally, we closed with a 3-part advice column where we told you about collaborating, gang bosses, and safety.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Bye.
Take care.
with a concertina.
You and that damn concertina.
And it's an accordion, man. You don't put an accordion in a song and expect somebody to like it.
Why not?
Because we're not pirates.
The Mexicans do.
Hey, he said Mexicans, not the other word.
And what is the other word, Pat?
Wetback.